Okay. Welcome back to another video of the snowblower. We're gonna go ahead and put the new belt for the driving train on because I got that belt. That's the only one of the belts that I got right now. But first, I'm going to loosen this up a little bit so I can get it out of the way, because it's a little tight for the belts to fit in there. And that's just to keep the belts on, so it doesn't really it's not even really, I didn't really do anything, but I moved it enough. It's not really loose, but I also flushed this gearbox, like just with a bunch of brake fluid, because brake cleaner cleans everything, or fixes everything, right? Sure. And now I'm probably going to have to set you down. And you guys can watch me hopefully get this belt on. I can't get the camera, there we go. There we go. Hold on a second. Let's see. Yeah. That tightens it up. Okay. Sorry, I don't know if my leg was in the way or not there. I thought possibly that this flywheel was loose. Something was not right. It scared me for a second. But then I realized it was the same reason the belt was loose on the other pulley to begin with. If you watched the first video, you know what I'm talking about. It's for that same reason. The lever that you push down up there on the controls is what makes it tight. See, this is kind of loose, but when I hit that lever, it tightens right up. And just like that, we have a belt on, and it fits good. I don't have the old belt to show you the difference, but this is definitely not sketchy. See, all that's holding this thing up is this 4x4 here. And the next thing we went to the store and we got some parts. And then we ordered some parts because we didn't have some of the parts. But we got a, excuse me, I can't talk. They call it a papers disc friction, or friction disc, that's what it's called, for that drive train. There I showed you on the first video, part 1. This, it was just a metal wheel. It looked like it was all chewed up and the rubber on it was cracked and broken and chipped away. Well, this is what it's supposed to look like. Nice and rubbery, and yeah. So we got a new one of these, but I think it might be a little too sketchy to do that now. To take that cover off and do this now without the front on, because it's so light it might just tip over backwards, and well, it'd be kind of hard for me to get in there with this one block in my way, and if I knock that over, that might not feel very good on my head or back or whatever. So yeah, but this ain't the end of the video for you guys. Might be the end of the day for me, just because I am out of things and just waiting on parts now. Got my parts organization thing here, and to show you some of the things that came off of this snowblower, and to remind me what all of it is these are those end caps for the auger there. We got a brass, it's not really a bearing, but it kind of is. Let's see, I said what it was in the first one. Just I don't remember what it's called actually, but anyways, it's just a brass piece here that kind of acts like a bearing. We got our big bolts for the center of those end caps here that goes right in here in the center. Then we got the 3 little bolts that hold this cap on. That stuff's all together, 2 pails there. Then we got the shrapnel from that bottom pan. We got the pieces that hold the chute on. We got the little key, half moon key, for the shaft right here that's behind that goes in the right there for that shaft. For the pulley that was loose in the first video, it goes, that pulley goes over it, and that's in the shaft right down here. Then there's the washer here for that shaft on the outside of that auger piece there, right here. Then there's the roll pin for the end of that shaft to keep the auger on. Then we got these 2 bolts, which hold they're the only 2 bolts that hold the bucket part in. If you hear me talking about the bucket, that's what that is. I'm going to call it that. That's because I watched a couple videos of other people taking the auger out, and that's what they called it, so I'll just call that the bucket. Then we got these 2 pieces. They're together right now. And they hold, and they're nuts down there too for them. They hold the bearing that goes in that hole right there in. That's their job. Then we got these 4 bolts, and they hold the cover on for the gearbox that's open right now. Right there. Here, you guys haven't even seen it there, have you? I don't think, well, maybe you have last video, but I cleaned it out a little now. Right in there. Those 4 bolts go in these 4 holes around the outer edge. I try to keep things a little bit organized around here, but it's not very good. See, I knocked over the pan. If you can see in that oil, it's not very good. That's what was in that gearbox to begin with. Sorry, I get a little distracted sometimes. Just like Ross the Oliver Man. These 2 bolts here are to hold this plastic shield on above the pulleys and belts and stuff. This bolt and this bolt are to hold, they're the shear pins for the augers there, and they go in those, they go in that hole there, and that hole there on each side. And, well, that's everything in there. There's a cotter pin there. That goes to the chute where it goes through this shaft here on the snowblower and through this outer casing here for this U-joint on the bucket part. And that's what turns your chute right there. So anyways, here's your big gears that drive your wheels. Well, this is the 1 gear, yeah. So, yeah, I guess this is a long enough beginning of this video that since I did that, I might make it 4 videos. That was whatever. Okay, anyways, I'll get back to this video and back to you guys when we have more parts. Okay, we got the new bearing. It's a lot smoother. I don't know if you guys can tell at all. I can. I got the plates that are going around it. Now I'll probably loosen that a little bit when I go to put the shaft in through it, because then it'll go to what it wants to, and stuff, and what it needs to be at. So that'll work. Okay. Let's see here. Get the gearbox still open. There's some kind of sealant they said we could put on this gasket and stuff so it'd seal good, even though it doesn't need to be completely 100% sealed, because these are brass bushings and they ain't gonna seal they ain't gonna seal 100% either, so I gotta wait on that. But we got the other belt now, so at least I can get that on here. Right here's the other belt. Set you guys down so you can watch. Okay. It'll go around and away. Although that seems a little big. Let's see here. Side-by-side comparison time. Holy moly. That new one's a lot longer. I don't know if you guys can tell. The new one's the long one. So it's way too big. So we have to take that back and see what's wrong there. Good thing I tried that to make sure it'd work, and it didn't, so that's why you try things like that. Especially before you get everything together and you realize, oh wow, I got the wrong part and I can't do anything and I gotta take everything back apart now. That would not be good, so always check, make sure. And so they replaced that L2 compound oil that you're supposed to put in that gearbox with L3 synthetic severe duty gear lube. So that's what the replacement part was. And I guess I was just going to go through a little summary of what we thought. So we think that the problems were maybe partially part of the bearing being not so good and partially part of there not being any oil in there. We're thinking the big one is probably the oil in there, because the bearing wasn't like the worst thing ever. So we're thinking and hoping that what we're doing here will fix our problems. And if not, then I don't know what will. At least we'll get that wheel on over there, the rubber friction disc there. Get that on, and that'll be helpful. we can hopefully drive better then. Because this thing didn't have really, before at least here, they hardly had reverse at all. You go forward, but it wouldn't go reverse. Really, you had to pull it backwards the whole time. So, anyways, I'll bring you back when we have more stuff to do. Okay, I'm back in the shop. I got the sealant put on that gasket. I put this blue RTV silicone gasket maker on it just to help seal it up. And now I'm going to put the bolts in it. And you guys can watch. Yeah, you guys should somewhat be able to see. Hopefully. Hopefully I can get decently far on this today. Or, I got everything to put it back together, I think, now. Which is nice. That's handy. You always want to hit stuff when you're trying to use your ratchet wrench. It seems to want to prove that, which isn't helpful. Okay, I got that tight. Now I can get this side on. And I don't think I said this yet. I got a new belt for this pulley here to drive this. Got that new belt, so that's good. Looking, I think it goes, yeah. This goes down like this. Just like that. I'll grease this all up before I run it again. Now I'll find that roll pin. And you guys can verify, but I think, yeah, I just looked at the other side, I guess. This little washer goes on before the roll pin, then the roll pin can go in. Alright. Wow. Yeah. I gotta see, there's a certain way this roll pin goes in, and I don't know what way that is. You guys probably can't see what I'm doing. There you can. You guys will probably fall. But oh. Let me grab the little hammer. I figured you guys would go sometime. Now I get dirty hands, and I don't want to get the camera all terrible dirty. Yeah, we'll just do that and let you fall again, right? This is going so well, as you can tell. I think I got it now. Now, if you guys just promise to stay there, I'd let you. I'd let go of you. I don't know. I gotta make sure it goes through the other side good. Huh. Oh. I thought the bar was bending, or the roll pin was bending, but it turns out it was just grease that looked exactly like around the same shape as the bar, and it was just drooping down. So Okay, it's about the same on both sides, so I think that's good. All right. I think it'll help me. I'm gonna set this down, this auger. That'll help me a little bit. And also, I'm gonna put these pins in this bar so they don't just roll all over, even though it's nice for doing this without letting this other thing spin. But, I don't know. Yeah. So I'll close up oil pan here and get it out of the way. Alright, I'm going to try to put this inside. It'll go. Oh wow. How'd that work? It just slid perfectly where it was supposed to. Well, partly there. We're somewhat there. So, I'm going to get this side things on. So that wasn't as easy as it looked, if it looked easy. It wasn't easy. Okay. Those are popped in. Yeah. It's somewhat there. Okay. So I'm gonna put these shear bolts back in. Yeah, sure. Now it only spins by this. And let's see. Now, I want to get these 3 bolts on the sides put in. Now, here's the point where I need the flathead screwdriver and 1/2 inch. No, it's 7/16 inch. I was just confusing myself. Well, I didn't realize until I was just putting these in that these have like a square head, like a carriage bolt, or not head, but they had that square on them. So you don't really need the screwdriver, I don't think. Although it might help you getting them off. Once it gets looser, it might help you a little bit. I don't know. But I think I'll put these on and I might call it quits here. And are these ones? Yeah. These ones aren't going to want to line up. And of course that plate's not going to want to spin with that. So, it's not going to want to spin freely, is it? Because that would be too easy if we did that, right? Right there. That should be good enough for all 3 bolts to go in. There we go. Okay. I'm going to call this video here. So, thanks for watching. Part 3 of this video. Go back and check out the others if you missed them. And stay tuned for the fourth part, and we'll see you in the next one.